Hello, what's going on, everybody?
Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'm Melinda. Hi, Ariel. Hi, Jan. And Melinda, I was told today that you were put in as a moderator, but don't feel obligated.
Yeah, if you don't want to, just let us
But
know.
she just put you in there.
Yeah. And it was Melinda and
Tish.
Tish.
I haven't seen
Okay.
Tish
Yeah,
yet.
Tish ain't here.
Hi,
Yet.
TNT.
Hey, Mom. Kind of wait for all of our group to get in here for a minute.
Well, I think that's about it.
Well, we usually got
There's
a few more. Yeah. Stank and Stabby, I'm sure they'll be here soon.
Stabby.
Tish
might be busy.
Yeah.
But
it's been a crazy week. It seems like this week has been so long for some reason.
Tuesday.
I know. Well, no, I'm talking about from our last live to now. It feels like it's been. I don't know why. For some reason, it just.
Because it was a long week.
It was a very long week. Very long week. So, y'all know that at one point a couple weeks ago we had gotten that Buick fixed, so we were able to give Miracle the Focus, which I bought the Focus for Miracle years ago when she was like 13. That was my intention when I bought that car. That was going to go to Sis when she turned 16. Well, of course, everything happened, and we ended up down to just that car. So, which sucks for her, and just sucks how it worked out that way. But it is what it is. So we got that car going for a couple weeks. So she was able to take her car, and she was at a friend's house. She was actually in the house visiting with friends, and some kid was leaving the house. And as he was leaving the house, he sideswiped the Ford Focus and completely crushed the whole passenger side of the car.
From about the latch all the way back down to
and then took off. Hit it and took off. So Miracle and her mom went over to the kid's house, and they actually took pictures of his truck and of his tag and all that stuff. You could see the obvious silver paint down the side of his truck.
Yeah.
But so got a hold of the kid's mom, and she didn't want to run her insurance, and I was going to work with her, and I told her. Well, she said that they knew a body shop guy. If we could get it in the body shop, that her son has a job, he would make payments to pay the guy for fixing the vehicle. So I said, that's fine. As long as y'all fix the car, that's all I'm looking for. Well, we took the car up to the body shop, and he took pictures of it. And then I didn't hear from the body shop for hey, Pooch. And I didn't hear from the body shop for like 3 or 4 days. And I thought that was weird. And in my mind, we work at an insurance auto auction, so we see these cars every day. And I knew that the damage was going to be way too much to even mess with fixing the vehicle. And so this body shop guy was not, I won't want to say avoiding us, but he wasn't sending us no quotes or anything. So finally, I got a hold of him, I think yesterday. I got a hold of him yesterday morning and talked to him. And sure enough, just like I thought, the damage was more than the car was, not more than the car was worth, but right at the same. So the car blue book value of it's like $5,028, something like that. And the price to fix it was $4,800. So he was like,
it ain't worth fixing.
It ain't worth fixing. So I kind of knew, but I went ahead and asked him because he's friends with these people. So I asked him, I said, so what route should I take? I said, do I need to run her insurance? I mean, is that the only option I've got? And he said, well, unless she just wants to pay off the vehicle. So I messaged the kid's mom and told her there's two options. So the car's worth $5,000. I told her, I said, if you can pay me $3,000 cash, we'll call it good. We'll call it good. We keep the car, you pay us $3,000. So then the kid that done the damage was like, well, if I pay you $3,000, do I get the Focus? Well, I told him, I said, if you want the Focus, you're going to have to pay the blue book value. I want $5,000, and then you can have the Focus. You can buy the Focus from me for what it's worth. Well, he wasn't up
You're
for
so
that.
funny. That's
So,
what I wanted to say.
They kept running in circles, and I was being really kind to her. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt and help her and trying to be nice. And I kept saying, like, I'm just trying to be civil here. I just want to get this fixed. Let's do what we've got to do. And then she would just get all weird and like, yeah, like, well, I'm trying to be civil too. And I'm thinking, and I told her, what do you have to be civil about? I'm the one with the totaled car. What are you talking about? You're working with me. I'm not working with you. You understand? And so I ended up messaging her a couple messages before I went to bed last night, and they were nice. They weren't nothing like being mean or anything like that. I was still being cordial. I was through the whole process. So I woke up this morning, and when I got to work, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot that I messaged her to see what she had to say. Open it up, and she's like, don't be getting smart with me, you dumb A, and just like,
calling him a jerk.
calling me names and all this stuff. So I messaged her back at that point, and I said, okay, ma'am. I said, there's nothing else to discuss here. All other options are completely off the table. If I don't have a picture of your insurance by the end of today, then I'm going to have to call authorities and let them handle this.
And then that's when I get involved.
No. Because even after that, she messaged me again and was still trying to. I said, look, ma'am, I don't have nothing else to discuss with you. So don't message my phone no more unless you're sending me a picture of this insurance. And then for some reason, she sent me a message out of the blue. She said, well, if you would have been acting like this the whole time, it wouldn't have been blah, blah, blah. Like, what are you talking about? So I just didn't even message back to that because I was, like I said, I was done. I had nothing to discuss with her. So she ended up sending her insurance to us by the end of the day. So
I filed a claim immediately. So we'll see how that goes because lo and behold, the insurance company that the claim was filed through is contracted with our job. She
so
has no
our
clue.
car is going to go through our process at our job. So it's funny because it's through State Farm and we're the only ones that are contracted through that insurance. So yeah, it's pretty crazy how it's all turned out. But she, like I said, she finally gave in and she gave us the insurance. Thank God, because I did not want to have to go through no like civil court case or anything like that. I just didn't want it to be this big, long, drawn out thing.
I get that, but sometimes
you're right, Melinda, and that's kind of what I was trying to explain to her. Like, we can do this the easy way, or I have more options than you have. You know, that's kind of what I was trying to explain to her. So, but like I said.
We did.
She finally sent the insurance. We put in the claim today. We've got a claim number on it already. But the thing is, what sucks about it is that's the only car we have. So whenever they're doing the adjustments and stuff on it, they're going to have to
or they're going to send somebody out. Like there's not going to be any in between. I'm going to insist that they send somebody.
See, but that's the good thing though, because it didn't mess with the drivability of the vehicle.
No.
That's what's good. It still drives fine and all of that. It just looks like crap. And so
trashy.
Yeah, but in the end, it's kind of,
thank God. Thank Jesus.
Honestly, it's almost like a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you, because it's really going to help us out in the end. So we'll get the claim checked, and I think it's going to work out best for us in the end. I feel like so because I want to keep the car. I'm not going to have them take the vehicle. I want to keep the Focus.
It's a good car. Yeah, like it has been a very good car.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
I highly recommend buying a Ford Focus because that thing, we drove it all the way to Kentucky and back and had no problem. Our AC compressor went out.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, Pooch. I didn't know if it actually, like, if she had to have a certain kind of insurance for it to cover the rental, or
I don't think so. I think they should provide
the little logistical things about it. I'm not fully sure of, but that's what I thought. I thought what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Hi, back to good.
Hello. Sorry, you just missed the whole story of our crazy week.
It's not one thing, it's another.
What else has happened? I mean, the heat is back.
I mean,
it's back times like 3. It's okay. So when we were talking about the heat,
108 yesterday.
Yeah, I guarantee that we hit a heat index of 115 today.
Every bit
guarantee
of it.
I mean, it is absolutely horrible.
Miserable. that car don't have AC.
Yeah.
So you can't get away from it. He can't.
And our boss is trying to get us to work freaking Saturday on the hottest week of the whole year. It's so aggravating. But yeah, it's been one of those weeks. That's what. So now that kind of explains why it feels like it's been a freaking month since we've done our live last night. It's just been
tired. It's just been
and I was trying to handle the situation without Sam having to get involved, because Sam can be a hothead, and I wanted to try to avoid all that. I wanted it to be calm and collected, and just let's just take care of this civilly.
Sometimes you can't.
But
sometimes in situations
in
like
one
that,
of the last messages I sent to the lady, I said, "Look, man, I'm gonna have to get my wife involved. I'm sorry. I tried to avoid this." But thank God it didn't have to go to that
Hi,
point.
Teresa.
Hello.
Also, Tish, you were made a moderator earlier, but don't feel like you're obligated to have to do it.
Sam got attitude.
My mama knows. I don't play.
She does.
I know I do.
But I handled it. I got it handled.
I'm proud of him. As soon
I got
as
it taken care of.
And then I took it from there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
My mama knows.
Crazy.
I can be professional, but I can also
honestly, like poor Miracle.
Be firm.
I know she was scared to death to have to tell me about this.
Yeah.
But it was not her fault whatsoever.
She was inside and this kid tried to take off.
Yeah, he did take off. He went to his house. He hit
luckily,
the car and
these
took
people
off.
knew who he was.
Yeah, and Miracle's friends were there, so they seen it happen, and they were, I guess, pretty ticked off at this kid for doing it and taking off.
And just leaving.
Yeah.
A police report should have been filed right then and there for hit and run.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, it should have.
Yeah, I know.
Sure should have. But like I said, my intentions weren't to get anybody in trouble. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. I wasn't trying. And like I said, I was trying to be cordial with this woman, like giving her the benefit of the doubt. I know that this ain't your fault.
Right, if we were put in that position, I understand.
But that's another thing I told her. I said, if this was the other way around, we would not have been going around in circles. You would have immediately had my insurance, and I would have immediately taken care of you.
We would have done it the right way.
And I guess she took that as me being a jerk, I guess, because that's probably
I didn't read all the messages. I just, whenever I went to go get the insurance verification, I could see where she called him a jerk, because if I had read all the messages, I probably would have.
Oh, she called me a dummy this morning.
Yeah, I wouldn't have appreciated that
that one was
very
the
much.
one that really ticked me off. That's where I was like, done. I'm over it. I'm not dealing with you no more.
Apparently, from what we were told, there's no evidence of this whatsoever, but this kid's like 16, 17 years old, and he already, before he ever even had his license, had a DUI on him.
Yeah. And apparently he was drinking. I don't know. Because she kept trying to say, well, we know that Miracle was drinking and driving. I said, no. I said, my daughter was raised better than that. I guarantee you she was not behind the wheel while she had any alcohol.
That car was parked. We have Life 360.
Yeah.
The car was parked, and it did not leave.
And she kept bringing that up. I was like, lady, I don't understand what you're talking about. Regardless of what Miracle has done or doesn't do,
it's not her fault.
She has nothing to do with this situation. I don't know why you keep saying that.
She was hanging out with her brother and
sister. And if you have any proof that my daughter's drinking and driving, I promise you, she's not going to be drinking and driving no more, because she ain't going to have a vehicle.
Me too, Tish.
I mean, even if she's drinking at all, to be honest with you, which I know she's a teenager, she's 18 years old. I'm not stupid.
17.
But at the same time, she's smarter than that, and she respects us more than that.
Yeah, and she values being able to have a car, because if we found something out like that,
yeah,
she ain't having a car.
No.
Not until she can afford
and she
it by
knows
herself.
That, and she respects that. Miracle's a good kid. She really is.
She is. But all kids make poor decisions. But even me as an adult, sometimes I don't make the right decisions.
I just thought it was crazy that woman kept bringing Miracle up.
Like, who are you?
And that I guess she kept telling Miracle that.
Trying to scare her.
So Miracle didn't tell me till the next day, because that's what that woman kept telling her. Well, if you say something, you're going to get in trouble for drinking. And Miracle, she's ignorant to it. So she was taking advantage of that. And Miracle was scared to death to say anything to me. And finally, I guess her stepdad, or whatever you can call him, he finally explained it to Miracle, like, no, regardless. Like, even if you did, that has nothing to do with what's going on. So, yes, it was a mission. The boy was drinking, and
yeah, they even admitted. Well, I mean, they admitted fault in the text message that they sent today.
and from what Miracle's, I guess Miracle has grown up with these kids, like in Drumright when she lived with her mom, so she knows these kids really good. And I guess apparently this kid has already had a DUI before he even had a driver's license. So it's ridiculous. Like, how can you keep letting this kid take off in his own vehicle after getting a DUI before you're even 16?
In a vehicle that's registered to you.
I mean, I'm not trying to talk bad on nobody, but man, that's some poor parenting, I'd say.
It's just not very smart for your own self, in my opinion, because it ain't doing nothing but causing you issues.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It's a pretty crazy situation.
Do everything I could to avoid that.
But at least the car still drives, you know?
Yes, it still drives. I mean, it's pretty crinkled up, though, but
yeah.
It cracked the rear tail.
Hey, Junkin' Jim.
Hey, Junkin' Jim.
Hope everything's going all right, man. We missed your live.
You nailed it.
My mom was in your live, and we had just got home. So when we do our lives, we don't get off work till 5. So we rush home, take a shower, get cleaned up, and then get everything set up. So we're basically between the time we get home from work and our live, we are like rushing around trying to get everything put together.
It goes crazy around here, and the dogs are going crazy too.
You got dogs yanking on cords, and
I'm waiting for the laptop to go flying, like it did the other day when you called our door.
Oh, and last week also was like very emotional week. I think that there were a lot of channels that went really deep on some stuff, and it was pretty cool. Like,
I appreciated it.
Yeah. Yeah, you had us telling our story. You had Full Blown Country telling their story.
Yep.
Empty Homestead telling their story. Who else was it? And they were all so deep. You know, I love that. I love that.
And Tish, I want to say that you melted my heart, and I love you.
Yes. Yeah, we are so thankful for Tish. We really are. All of you.
All of you. I'm talking about her live with Pooch.
Oh, yeah. We didn't catch that live. I actually woke up super early the next morning, couldn't go to bed. So I seen y'all had your live, and
then I watched it when I got up.
Yeah. We love you, and prayers are going up for you absolutely every day.
Yes.
Absolutely. But I think, honestly, the more I was thinking about everybody going deep on their stories last week and everything just being very emotional and just deep, and like I lay in bed and just my mind just goes and goes and goes, and I was just thinking like how I think a lot of the world, they get a little tripped up on what the true meaning of us of people with big stories like this that are sharing it with that the true meaning of it, and every one of them have the same core meaning, even though the stories are so different. The core meaning of it, just being able to sit here and express our stories and be okay, you know, because of our Savior, you know. And I think that people want to get lost on so many other things. Like, I don't know. I think that the focus needs to be on what's held us all together to be able to be sitting here smiling and having fun and even going through such tragedies in our life. And you know what I'm saying, that's where the focus needs to be set instead.
Right now, my dad's still in the hospital.
Oh yeah. Dan's in the hospital again. He had to have another blood transfusion. That's 2 in a week.
2 in a 2-week period.
2 in a 2-week period.
He's had 4 units of blood.
Yeah, a lot of blood, not just a little bit of blood, but
the full bag. So 2 of them.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But we went and seen him today on our lunch, and he looked really good today. He had
come out alive.
He had color back in his face. He was talkative, and we went to see him yesterday, and he was just super pale white, and he didn't talk much. He was just laying there. He didn't look well at all, but you can tell he's coming. He's getting his spunk back.
It's a roller coaster with him. It really
Yes.
is. One day
You're right, Jan.
he's doing okay, he's moving around, and then the next day he's down. Like he cracked his ribs 2 weeks ago, and he did not tell me when I rushed into the emergency room.
Yeah, I think he holds a lot of stuff from Sam.
He doesn't want me to worry because there was one point where I broke out in hives earlier this year, and it made me very, very sick. It covered my entire body, my face swelled up.
And we believe it came from stress. Yeah.
So after that, he stopped telling me things that were going on with him. So whenever he passed out 2 weeks ago, he smashed his shin and he crashed into the corner of the bathtub. And the only way I found out about it was whenever, because I'm very diligent in looking at his my chart. I go through and I look at everything that they're showing, and it showed on there when they took an X-ray that he had rib fractures.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first time he had to go get that blood transfusion, the only reason Sam figured it out and took him to the hospital was because his nurses had to call Sam and tell her, like, look, you need to go get your dad and take him to the hospital.
He was calling them and telling them all of his symptoms. And then literally I was just on the phone with him and he was saying, I'm fine. Yeah, fine. Like and then immediately Oklahoma Heart Institute called and he kept trying to beep in. So, but I was talking to his nurse and she's like, look, he's got to go. Yeah. He's got to go based off of everything he's telling me. And then I called him back. I said, what are you not telling me?
Like he couldn't even stand up. Well, I mean, he lost 2 pints of blood. I mean, that's a lot of blood.
He should have called me so that either A, I could have called an ambulance, or B, I could have been there with Dave to help him get in that car. He fell outside in the grass. This was just Saturday. He fell out in the grass. And the heat was ridiculous. And he had to crawl over concrete and try to boost himself up to get into the car. It's little things like that. Like, ugh!
Yeah. Yeah, you lose that much blood, and you just ain't got nothing to pump. You ain't got no energy. I couldn't imagine.
His blood pressure was like 89 over 23.
And that's the crazy thing about it is they have done down the throat images with the camera. They went up the colonoscopy. They cannot find nothing. They can't figure out where the blood's going. They cannot. I mean, that's a lot of blood he's losing.
Praise to God that there's no internal bleeding.
Right? Yeah.
There's
no cancer. There's no nothing crazy. Everything looked clean. Came back good. They can't figure out where his blood is going.
I even asked.
Isn't that the craziest thing? I've never heard of anything like this. I asked the nurse.
I was like, "Is it possible it's happening in his brain? Like, but he's not complaining of headaches. He's not. His legs aren't swollen. You don't see blood like pooling. I don't know if that's
right. So she was saying you would have like neuro problems in his brains and thing if it was going on in his head, and he's fine. He's yeah, that's a pretty crazy one too. So we've had that on top of everything. It's just been a pretty crazy week.
Been at the hospital quite a bit, which is fine. I don't mind going. It's one of those things where you just hate seeing your parent go through that.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't imagine. And it breaks my heart.
It's hard.
It breaks my heart. What we got going on in the comments here? Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it, Junkie Jim? What was your first name again, bud? I'm so sorry. Gary. Is
that right?
Is it Gary? I apologize. Like I've said 100 times before, I am horrible with names. Even if I was to see you face to face.
Say, hey,
but when I get it all, I got it.
Yeah, he said yes, Gary. Okay. Yes. 1 for Sam, 0 for Dave.
So how is everything going on with Gary and Mary?
I can remember
how is the situation going with you guys? Is if you want to share it, which I'm sure you did on your live. So
I know after we're done with this, I'm gonna go back and watch rice and chicken myself. Make some Chinese food. Buy this stuff at Walmart.
Time to make dinner.
Excellent. I know I'm hungry. I didn't make dinner last night. I think everybody in this house is hungry because nobody really ate dinner.
Okay.
I mean, they ate.
Yeah, we'll definitely send prayers up for you guys.
Yes. Listen to your story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one. That was another one on top of, like I said, last week was just an insane week. And yeah, I'm so sorry for that. For y'all having to deal with a situation like that. That really sucks bad. But hey man, our God's a big God and he can do some crazy, mind-blowing thing. So nothing is
tell them about
what? Oh, yeah. So look, back when I don't know why I forgot
2016.
I forgot to share this whenever we were doing our testimony, but so back in like 2009, 2010, when I told you the story about me getting stuck in Kansas City and all that stuff. Well, when that happened and I got back to Oklahoma City and got clean for a few months, I was actually going and before I started working, I was going to give plasma at a plasma center. And I ended up getting a phone call and I was Hep C positive. So, and I had been throughout, it really scared me at 1st. So I freaked out. Like of course, I didn't know much about anything about it. So in my mind, like I'm dying. Like,
well, yeah,
it scared me. But so over the years, after I learned more about it, it's manageable and this and that. But so I definitely had it because I went to several doctors throughout the years, and they confirmed it each time. And then a couple years ago, they'd had come out with medicine to cure it, and so we were working, we had good insurance. So I was like, I'm gonna go and see about this medicine. So
about
we
2017, roughly.
So we can see about, yeah. So this is a couple years into my transformation with God and everything, like taking it super serious. And I remember going to my doctor, and he ran all the tests, and he just wanted to check and see like levels or whatever like that in order to start the treatment. So we left, and like 2 days later, or maybe the next day, the doctor personally called me. He personally called me and he said, "Look, I just wanted to call and let you know that we ran your blood tests and there are signs in your blood
in your antibodies.
You can tell that you had hepatitis, but he said you do not have hepatitis anymore. It's completely out of your bloodstream." He said it's like a 2 to 3% chance.
He was
of your own body to basically cure itself. Yeah. So it was like a miracle in itself.
It was.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Like how?
Yeah. It's just like I said, God can do
big
big things, man. That's what I was meaning to Junkie Jim, Gary and Mary. Like he does amazing things, and especially when you're surrounded with amazing people like this that are going to be throwing prayers up there for you. Like it's powerful. It's powerful.
That's the reason why we're here. I truly feel that.
Yeah.
Our mama's prayers.
Yeah. I was scared to death, like I said, but then they came up with the treatment. I was like, well, cool, man, we'll go cure this. And my body did it itself. I had hepatitis for like 5, 6 years. So no, from 2010 to 2000, I'd say probably the last time I got checked was like 2015, maybe. And I still had it from 2010 to 2015. Changed my life. And then within a year and a half of changing my life, all of a sudden, I mean, what else? What else can you say? There's no other explanation for it in my mind. It's so cool.
Yeah, we should have said that in or he should have talked about that. And there was a lot that we did leave out during our testimony with Tish because we just brain farted.
Yeah. A part of me feels like I did horrible, but I loved it. Like the next couple days afterward, like I watched it over and over, and then the more I got into it, like I started criticizing myself, and I was calling my mom. I was like, man, I wish I could go back and redo it. Like, yeah, I adapted myself. I'm so bad about beating the crap out of myself, and
he always talks about how his videos aren't very good, and it's just like the conversation that we had with his mom. Just record your day-to-day stuff. Yeah. Just record your life because he's constantly trying to think of stuff to go out and do when that's just not in my mind. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're going to be doing these from now on, so we've got plenty of time to fill you in on the stories that we didn't get to.
Yeah, I think I
that we
mean, he's
didn't
been
get to
pushing
talk
me to
about.
sit down and do my testimony. I know that he kind of done a little on our channel.
Yeah.
Where but it was right when I found out my papa had
Yeah, it was right
passed,
when
so I was
that
not
Saturday that
into
we
talking.
before we left to Kentucky. I sit down and
Okay, so it was when he was in the hospital.
yeah,
Maybe
it was
had
right
passed
before
away,
that
but
Saturday,
my
right
heart was
before we
broken,
left.
so I couldn't talk. But he done like a little blip it, but he's been pushing me to do mine for this channel, and I really need to sit down and write out everything and be completely 100% transparent with.
Look at that.
I tried to save face for people.
Honestly, that would be super cool. I would love to.
Thanks, Tish.
Yeah. I mean,
Think
we'll
about
wait a
that
little bit on
kind.
down the road. We don't bombard everybody with two.
And that was another thing. He was like, I just don't want it to bring that vibe of like sadness, but
Yeah.
it's really a story that needs to. It shows.
Well, it's exactly like
rejoicing
I
in
was
God,
saying earlier.
you
Like
know?
every one of these stories have the same core meaning to it. And we've got that same beam and light that everybody's radiating off of, if I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And I think everybody that here, our group, understand that, you know, but a lot of people in the world, they're probably going to come in and be more of like a, you know, judging, like, you know what I'm saying? And not looking at what the message that we're trying to get across. It's not
Like
about
missing the whole point is what he's afraid
we're
of.
we're all skewed and just we're humans. Like none of us are perfect.
That's right.
But yeah.
That is right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love you, Mom. I don't know
But
if I told you that today.
oh. Yes. Yeah.
It sure enough is.
Absolutely. You know, I hate my daughter driving. I don't even know why I thought of that, but it's driving me nuts. I just can't stand the thought of just cutting her loose and letting her go. That was very random. I'm sorry. Just popped in my head.
Oh, Gary, honey.
What's that?
I think everybody here is a believer, and I believe in the power of prayer.
Yeah.
We will pray.
That sucks, man. But I mean, like I said, he's a big God, and he can do crazy, amazing things, and you know, get her soul and spirit. And I'm sure she is on the right line, and you know, we can rejoice in sadness. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then that was another thing too that I was telling Sam, because I had actually made a video that was a real deep video, just me talking, and then it was me and her both actually sit down and done a kind of a testimony thing, but more talking about God and things, and which is fine. But and when I went up while I was editing it, I got to like the middle of editing it, and I went to Sam. I was like, you know what? I don't. I at the same like I want God to be centered of our channel, but at the same time, I don't want it to be. It's hard to explain. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want our channel to be just this deep, emotional. You know, I want it to be adventurous and you know, fun, just our daily lives. But at the same time, just letting people know, you know, where we stand. And yeah, so I ended up not putting it up.
No, he didn't put it up.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll finish editing it and put it up. But it just seemed like there was just enough deep emotional stuff going on last week.
But I feel like that's how you really get to know somebody, you know?
Yeah.
To their core is just by listening to them
Well,
and
yeah,
the things that
that's
you know
true.
that they have to say. And then also see in retrospect how, like you said, adventurous. I feel like there needs to be a happy medium.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What is your daughter's name, Gary? And Mary? I like that y'all have
Gary
such
and
close
Mary.
names now. That'll be
That's
very
pretty
easy
cute. That's cute.
for me to remember. And y'all will be coming to Arkansas, right? Have y'all already went? Have y'all already came down to Arkansas or? Amen. Amen.
I will heal them. Amen.
Love it.
Yep. I wholeheartedly believe that.
You know, and the great thing about it is we're all going to be healed regardless. Even whenever this body shuts down, we're going to be perfect. Like, we're going to be, you know, it's the way I look at it is like we're almost like immortal beings. I mean, our souls and our spirits are never going to, like, you know what I'm saying? So,
we're going to live forever.
Yeah, we're going to live forever. And this next life after this dust in the wind, as it says in the Bible, I think it's Ezekiel, where it talks about how life is just it's so quick. It's like dust dropping, and it's
what is it like a second for us is like, was it 10,000 years for God?
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe is it the other way? I don't know. But I know that. And just thinking about it, I mean, I was sitting here. I actually sit here on the couch with Miracle last night for like a couple hours, and we just talking, and I was explaining to her, you know, like just sitting here thinking, like, man, I'm 40, and you know, that time, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. You know, it's so crazy when you're a kid, like being a little kid to the time you're about 15, 16. That seems like it was a forever. Like when you're a kid, like
a grown up.
Yes. But then once you hit that specific age, like time just, it's so true. Like it's so evident that the Bible is speaking truth because it really is. It's just like
that.
You blink your eye, like I blinked my eye, and here
exactly
I am, 40,
what our parents told
and
us
our daughter's 18, fixing to graduate high school. Like
she's 17.
Great, she'll be 18 in just a couple months.
She ain't 18 yet. You ain't on your daddy.
I like that. Jan. Did you read all of it? Oh, Melinda. Stop worrying about Miracle driving. It's going to be okay. You have to trust in God that she will make good choices and right decisions. I know.
That's it. That's what I keep telling him.
She's my baby, man. I worry about her. It's kind of like
have to grow up.
Moving to Kentucky. I think I do have her convinced she's going to come with us, but she's probably not going to stay.
No.
She's just going to come up and stay for like the first month or two that we're there, and then she's going to go ahead and come back here because she's got siblings. She has a little brother and a little sister, and I understand what she
I'm hoping what she can do is get a job there and literally just save up all of her money.
Yeah.
That way she's set for a little while.
Yeah. So
give us an opportunity to try to save up for it.
That part of going to Kentucky breaks my heart whenever I really start to think about it. Just, I just want to keep her like right there under my wing and know that she's okay.
Oh, I know.
Which I'm sure every parent understands what I'm talking about.
Mom, how did you do it? Tracy, how did you do it? I guess you didn't really have a choice with David.
Oh, no. When I was like 15, 16, my mom and dad forced me to leave. But they had no choice because I was like way out of control. Way out of control. And I look at it that way too. Like Miracle in comparison to me is like it is like 150 times different. I was so out of control at such a young age. Like,
thank you, Jan. She really is. She is. Everybody makes silly decisions.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I can think back on myself when I was that age. But I tried to keep myself occupied, but also I was an addict too,
Yeah.
which I'm grateful that she is not.
Yeah. And you know, I think
It's
a little bit
amazing.
the world's a little bit different. I mean, drugs are a bad thing and addiction still, it's always gonna
Rampant.
probably be a crazy thing, but I feel like you see more kids that are and maybe it's because she witnessed her parents go through that and that made her mindset different. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like me growing up, I didn't see my parents being strung out and all that,
No.
you know. They'd have little weekend parties and things like that, but nothing like what my daughter
Day to day,
witnessed
right? His day to day life
with me just being homeless and strung out, and you know, which I hid a lot of it from her at the best I could, you know. But there were a lot of times, like whenever I would be able to get her to stay with me for a couple days, I had a 1996 Chevy Camaro, and I had a little 2-man tent, and I would tell her, we're going to go camping. Come on, let's go hang out. And we'd go to the lake and we'd just camp out for a couple days. So she didn't really understand at that time that dad didn't have nowhere to go,
no.
you know, but those are also memories that will hold forever. Like, I remember sitting in
even
that tent
remembers
and
it.
us sitting there telling ghost stories. And there was one time, and of course, there were a couple times like I would be drinking. I would get me like a little bottle of whiskey, and I'd be sipping on whiskey. And there was one night
She still remembers
we
it.
got, yeah, she remembers this, and we got out of the tent and we were trying to get firewood, and I couldn't find firewood no more or anywhere close to us. So I climbed up this tree. There was a dead branch up there, and I got up the tree, and I was probably a good 10, 15 feet off the ground. And I went and grabbed that branch, and when I did, I fell completely backwards, like dead on my back. I thought it about killed me. And I remember looking over and Miracle just laughing, dude. That was like the funniest thing she'd ever seen in her life.
She thought it was so funny.
Yeah. Crazy memories, man. But I made it work. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, even through the worst times of my life, I was always involved with her, you know. And I always made sure she
He
knew
did.
who God was as a very young age. Yeah. Her, like, we would find out that Miracle was catching buses when she was like 6 years old. She was getting on the church bus and going to church on Sundays. And yeah, I did my best to instill good and hide what my life really was, you know. So, you know, after Tara passing away and then Miracle and we all separated, and I just went down the spiral of just, yeah. I remember actually telling Sis this story last night. There was one time that I was driving through the housing addition that Miracle was staying at with her mom one day, and Miracle was out in the front yard, and I drove by and I hollered at Sis. She got excited. She came over, and I just took Miracle. And there was a part of me that was almost thinking about just taking off. And I'm so glad I didn't now looking back on it. But yeah, I almost, like, her mom freaked out. I basically just kidnapped her. But it wasn't long after I took her. I was like, what am I doing, dude? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do with the 3-year-old kid?
Thanks, Ann. Glad you're here. And as some of you may know, David and I have not been able to have children for whatever reason.
I think it's me. We had tests done, and all the doctors say that she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. So we had to go in and have me checked out, and my things are all jacked up for some reason. I don't know.
I've come to terms with it. There for a long time. It still hurts. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't be even been able to sit here and talk about it without like bawling my eyes out.
But you know, and I really, really, really consider adoption. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be just the coolest thing. You know, if it didn't cost so much money, I would like to be able to get a child
might
from
be
like
able
a
to, like,
third world country
foster
or
and
something.
then adopt.
But even if it's from here, like I was telling her, the baby may not be but we're giving this child. We can give whatever child an opportunity that otherwise we would. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I just think it would be really cool, and I think it would be just as attached. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I I really am considering that. We looked into it a couple times, like a couple years ago, but we really just couldn't afford nothing at the time. And
Because I know that I have to go, like, if I went through, like, foster to adoption, I have to go through, like, classes.
yeah,
And I met somebody at the dollar store one time, and I'm pretty sure she still works there, where she has, like, 10 kids that she fosters. She told me that she'd tell me where I needed to go if I need, which, if I really dug into it, it's just, it was one of those things to be able to finally come to terms with the situation before moving on to the next.
yeah.
And I feel like he's old.
Well, and I mean that's crazy that on it because we, like I said, we looked into adoption and foster care and things like that. I mean, it's super easy to go get a 11 or 12-year-old kid, like, and
Everybody wants babies.
yeah, but
Which-
and not trying to be like I would be okay if a 10, 11-year-old
Yeah.
kid needed somewhere to go and we were there to be able to help them. I'm perfectly okay with that. But we want to raise a child, from infant and adoption from immediate birth. That's where it gets a little stretchy and expensive. It can be expensive.
Yeah.
I have a cousin that just adopted. I believe he just adopted his second one, but I mean, it's like thousands of dollars. I
You
mean,
got
with
money, like,
attorneys and all
that
this
blows my
different stuff.
mind. That blows my mind. Why? It costs so much.
Did cry, but was so when my kids went
You're
out
getting
on
my
their
nerves,
own.
bro.
That was different for me. I was so proud of them after all they endured.
Sorry, I'm eating ice.
I imagine, gang. That's awesome. Because they did go through a lot, and you as well. But that's cool. So now they're like just good, productive citizens of of the world. That's so cool. And I know Miracle's gonna be. She's a very smart and strong-willed kid. Like I said, we really haven't pushed her really, really hard. I mean, I have been on top of her about school over the years, but
I'm probably more hard on her.
I had
than
no
he is.
idea until she started her senior year this year. Like, she's doing tech in the morning and she has one class during the day. That's it. And I mean, she's already got that many credits. She's basically ready to graduate. Yeah, and she did that all the way until in her junior year.
Proud of her.
Yeah, yeah, Coco. He's a crazy dog.
Mm-hmm.
We was watching
I know, he keeps moving.
I seen a short today of a YouTube short. Joe Rogan was talking about how he
Tongue hanging out.
he's a big time dog dude, and he had a couple pit bulls that lived to like 15, 16 years old, and they didn't pass away. You see what I'm saying? Like, their body was shutting down before, so like they were still alert and coherent, but they just, like, he couldn't walk and happened to put his dogs down. And how crazy it is to watch a dog in a 10-year stretch where you hardly even change, but then watching your dog get, you know, so old and slow, and it's just sad. It's just sad.
This one right here is basically taking the spot of a baby.
Yeah.
So he is so spoiled.
Yeah. And all of them are so jealous.
Let's be holding like a
If
baby.
I was to
Oh.
pet Coco right now, Herc would be in my lap. He's so jealous.
He literally,
Yeah.
he just melts on me. We rescued him.
Yeah.
We rescued him. The way that he was living in a little like crate pen
All the time, like
all the
24/7.
time, scared to death of everything. I said, we ain't doing that. Mm-mm. What we're not about to do is leave this dog behind. So, and he had like at first he did not like David. I remember David trying to hold him, but just talking to him, telling him we're gonna be best friends one day.
Yeah.
And it took some time, but once Coco got around the other dogs and started,
Coco hated me at
he didn't-
first. Like
he-
he
it was
wanted
just-
to eat me alive
it was just
anytime I
men.
tried to touch him.
yeah,
But now he's my
really
buddy.
come out.
Now he's my little buddy.
But he is my protector.
Yeah.
Even if David is like raising his voice and he thinks he's talking to me, he will start barking at David.
Did you see what
No.
she said?
Which one?
Well, I got put up yours. And?
Yeah. We currently have one. Now, is your cat,
Cat.
Is it the cat with one eye? Did I get that right? I know I seen a cat with one eye.
Is that Ann and Aaron?
Yes.
Got it. All right. Y'all have been having some pretty cool shorts, man. Like,
the GT?
yeah, the old Mustangs and things.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right. That's exactly what I told her.
And I'm sorry, but I am super horrible whenever I'm flipping through my shorts of liking people's videos. I don't know why. So I can't really get mad at not having a bunch of likes on my videos because I'm one of those people that's just bad about it. Just flip, 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 flip. Yeah.
My bad, Ann. I knew that there at least was.
What?
The cat that I was talking about passed away a few years ago.
Oh.
But Peanut.
It's covered completely in tick and air. Believe it took me about 10 hours to get them all off. He's doing great.
Yay,
Awesome.
I love hearing those
Awesome.
stories.
Yes.
My
I
dogs
would
are
be
my kids.
perfectly okay, like if we had like enough property for dogs to be outside.
I'd have a dog
like,
farm.
Yeah. I would be totally okay with having 10, 15 dogs running around. I love dogs. Not a big cat person. I don't hate cats. But if it was the choice, I would much rather have a dog than a cat. I have had cats in my life that I completely fell in love with, and they were, awesome pets.
But just trying to push him to get a cat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it. Good.
Awesome.
Thankful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Good. Yeah, it really hadn't been too bad of a day. And
it's hot.
yeah,
That's
being hot outside. But as far as like my mood and all that, like it's been a pretty decent day. I don't know, like my mind, I kind of roller coaster a little bit. I'll go 2 weeks
Probably
just
everybody
like
does.
like being depressed and just blah blah for no reason and trying to figure out what is going on, and then all of a sudden I'm just like spunky.
You finally remember whose child you are and come out of it.
Yeah. Just normal human crap.
I used to fluctuate like that. I mean, I still I may have days where I'm just don't want to deal with anybody or anything, but for the most part, I stay like my emotions within me. Like I don't feel depressed. I don't feel.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't mean like depressed. Like
no, I'm just.
like,
I know, but I'm saying just down.
Yeah. Just. Yeah. I'm sure you all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Get out of here.
Whoa, in the low
It's coming
70s,
your way. It has to
that
be
would
coming
be
your way.
so awesome.
Mom sent me a screenshot today of what the temperature was in. I think it was in the 70s, but I think it was supposed to get up to the 90s where she is.
Highs in the low 70s. And what's crazy is just earlier today, I had mentioned to Sam, I was like, what would be super cool, dude, is to be able to go to New York
just said it
and see y'all and hang out and be able to say, hey, we went to New York. Well,
He said-
70 degrees, I'll
He
go
said, we have
anywhere.
friends in New York.
Yeah, we do. New York, Texas, California. That's another. We're missing
Arkansas.
Rach tonight.
No, I thought somebody said hi, Rachel.
Oh, was she?
I think she popped in.
Okay. I've not been.
think.
I've just been running my mouth. I haven't been paying attention to
As per usual.
the comments too much.
I'm a nerd.
But yeah, that would be super cool. You know.
She said, "Come over."
That would be awesome. That would be super. I would love to go see New York. I think that would be
getting
super
excited
cool.
just talking about it.
Yeah. And California and yeah.
Not right now in California, but
I've not seen a
What
whole lot.
about
And then
all
after
that?
going to Kentucky, you know, I've only been to Oklahoma and Indiana and then the states between there, driving through to get to them 2 states my whole life. That's it. So like when we went to Kentucky, it was literally like a dream every day when you walk out the front porch and you got these beautiful
Thank you, man.
mountains, you know. I fell in love with it out there.
It's so majestic, and I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait for him to experience Purple Mountains, what they mean by Purple Mountains. Eventually, he will.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
beautiful
beautiful.
out there. I am so excited. I'm so excited to get out there, man.
2 days this week. You almost stepped on a rattlesnake.
Dang it. Screw that. I don't do no snake.
David would pack up and leave that house.
We went walking on these trails a couple days ago. I'm actually in the middle. That's going to be our next video. So we've got it. There's like they call it a mountain, Turkey Mountain, where there's a bunch of like mountain bike trails and walking trails and stuff. And we went and walked it. And Sam actually seen a snake. They had signs everywhere saying watch out for snakes and stuff. I never seen one.
So look, I was ahead of everybody, and I didn't talk a whole lot in that because I was hot.
It was
when
hot.
I got home, I actually felt like I had a heat stroke. I started shaking, and
Yeah,
I
it was
just laid
horrible.
like
And I didn't
was
even know
sick.
about it. She didn't even tell me nothing
No, I was
until
hoping
it
it
was
would
like
pass.
she was laying in the bed like shivering, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on, dude?" So
But
I just kind of
anyway,
laid next to her and just kind of.
He did. He laid there with me for a little bit. I couldn't even make it to our bed. I had to go to Miracle's bedroom because I was in the kitchen.
But we
anyway,
probably walked for like 3 miles.
I don't really know.
You
It was
think?
super. I don't know.
Or
I
maybe-
just
maybe it
was
was only like
focused
a
on
mile
getting
or
back
two,
to the
but-
car was the goal.
But
not
they
getting
have like
lost.
levels of trails, and we done the easiest level.
Yeah,
But it was just so hot.
But-
But I'm definitely gonna go back, like either by
When it's
myself or with Bennett, because I want to do the hard trails, like
Okay.
the red trails.
But we're getting off track. Okay, so
Okay.
I was walking
Sorry.
ahead. I was walking ahead of him and Bubba, and I was trying my hardest to get to the car, and I literally seen like a gray snake right in front of me, and it took off. Woo! I don't think I have ran like that in a minute. My purse was like bouncing on my back.
I'm
Like-
so glad I didn't see it. It's gonna be a
Trying to
pretty
get the
decent
heck out of
video.
Dodge.
There really isn't a whole lot of talking.
did not
Like
talk
I'm
very much.
talking to it. Sam really didn't at all. But it's really y'all will see.
My
It's
presence
super
was
pretty out
there.
there. It was really cool. Like I had no idea. I knew that they had trails out there you can walk, and we went out there with my mom a couple times. But we went to a totally different area, and it was on accident. I accidentally drove by the main park and then drove up this hill, and they had a parking lot up there. So I went ahead and pulled in there and parked. Well, they had all these completely different trails on this other side of the mountain. It was
You
pretty
didn't know
cool.
about.
I never even knew that they had all those. But it was really pretty up there, and it's going to be a pretty cool video. I'm almost done with it. I'll have that up at the end of the week.
So Anne said that she's close to Woodstock.
To Woodstock?
Mhm.
Isn't Woodstock a huge concert?
Yeah, where they had the first Woodstock.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that's what she's referring to.
That would be super cool.
We're gonna go do a walking tour of Woodstock video.
Cool. Yes, I want to see that. That would be super
Yeah.
awesome. And not only
That's
that,
awesome.
that would be the other cool thing. Like how cool would to have a little old Okie channel have some New York
the New
videos on
Yorkers.
there. Yeah. Or some Cali
Yonkers.
videos, and yeah. That would be fun. Woodstock 1969.
1969.
Yes, Mom, there is. There are tons of trails out there. Like, it's blew my mind how much. There's even like big old ponds down in there. Like, we can take a fishing pole and go down there and fish those ponds. But it was really hot that day, and I realized that I had Sam with us and even Bennett. Like, I wasn't trying to kill him, but I was so tempted to
I was having chest pain.
take off down these mountains.
And finally, I told him, I said, my chest is hurting me. We got to go.
Yeah, that was at the end. So when we got to the end, and there's like this cool shot, which I got in the video in the beginning. So I walked up this little hill where you can actually, you're like over downtown Tulsa. It's really awesome. So I was going up there to do like an ending clip, and I heard her in the background screaming at me like, "My chest hurts."
I was scared. It scared me. I didn't talk on the way home. Yeah. I knew something wasn't going right with my body. It's the first time I've ever felt like that.
And we'd been home for a little while whenever she started doing
I
dinner.
As soon as we got
home,
probably
within an hour, probably an hour.
I laid
or two.
In the bathtub for an hour.
Yeah.
I laid in the bathtub for an hour trying to get I took a cold shower. I don't know if I was supposed
but
to.
She just what I mean is she never said nothing to me. That's aggravating. Until it got to like, what if something would have happened? Like, and I had no idea. I'm just laying in here in the living room thinking you're cooking dinner, and
I kept walking back and forth to Miracle's room because I'd have to go lay down.
Yeah.
And then I'd get back up, finish dinner, start working on dinner and dishes, and then I go lay back down.
Okay, guys. You ready?
Well, I don't even know.
We're gonna wrap it up. We're an hour and a minute in. I've got that energy tonight. I feel like I could go for a couple hours, but I ain't going to.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm ready to eat.
Hungry.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. And whoever's in here that hadn't hit the like button yet, go ahead and hit that like button before you get out of here. But we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Y'all are so awesome. We got such amazing friends that never would have been possible without this YouTube. It's awesome. I love it. I'm having so much fun with it. And like I said, love you guys. Until next time, be looking for my video. It should be out, I'd say, hopefully Thursday. I think it'll be out by Thursday. So I'm about done with it. I just got to get on there and finish it up. So I love you guys. We will catch you on the next one. Love you.